I wish to welcome every one of you from all over the world to this Net Retreat 2015. I pray that it will be an experience of the Spirit's working in your life. I pray that it will be an experience of God talking with you and you listening to what God wants you to do. At the start, I wish to say that along with you, there are thousands of people all over the world making this retreat. And while I suggest that each one of you pray for yourself, I also suggest that you pray for the entire group of people, most of whom you may not even know. Because I am a firm believer in the fact that the Spirit of God works where it will and when it will. What is needed on our part is openness, is receptivity, is an ability to listen to the promptings of God's Spirit. And God's Spirit speaks not only through our ears, but God's Spirit speaks through every fiber of our being. And therefore, what is required during these days that you will make this retreat is the primary quality of openness. One figure in the New Testament who is an exemplary example, if you like, of openness is Mary. When the angel announces to her that she is to be the Mother of God, she's confused. She's disturbed. She wonders what sort of invitation this is. And yet, even though she does not receive a rational explanation from the angel, even though the angel's explanation of what is to happen does not make sense, her response to God is, "Let it be done to me according to your word." In other words, she is willing not merely to cooperate with God, not merely to collaborate with God, but she is willing to let God do in and through her. She is willing to cede the initiative to God. She is willing to be God's instrument. And I can assure you that if you have this attitude, and you can ask Mary for her intercession to obtain such an attitude, God will be able to work through you. We are living in a busy world. We are living in a world in which to find time for ourselves is more than a luxury. Work takes up so much of our day. Other activities take up so much of our day, and yet we need a few moments in silence and quiet. I do not mean that you spend hours in prayer during these days. I invite you to spend just 1 hour every day listening to what I'm saying and meditating on what you believe the Lord is calling you to do. And if you were to ask me, is there a rationale in the scriptures to go into a retreat, to make a retreat, to remain silent? And I would say, yes, there is. In the first book of the Bible, Genesis chapter 3, we are told about the rest of God. God was busy, like any one of us might be, with his work, with his activity, with his doing for 6 days of the week. And then the scriptures tell us, on the seventh day, God rested. God rested on the seventh day, not because God was tired, not because God wanted to rest his weary bones, but God rested because he wanted to give human beings this message, that the human person who is made in the image and likeness of God is more than the activity, is more than the work, is more than the external action. The human person who is made in the image and likeness of God is much more than all that he or she does. My activity, my work, my doing is only a small part of me. There is a much larger me which is within my heart. And I pray that during these days, you might be able to come in touch with this larger me. Another example in the scriptures of what it means to rest is the rest of Jesus. Mark chapter 1 verses 12 to 13. Matthew chapter 4 verses 1 to 11. Luke chapter 4 verses 1 to 13 all speak of the rest of Jesus. In all the three Gospels, Jesus has been baptized. And immediately after his baptism, he is led by the Spirit into the wilderness. He is led by the Spirit into the desert. He is led by the Spirit to a lonely place where he is by himself. Where he is not lonely, but alone with thee alone. So there are two reasons why I invite you to this retreat. And the first of these is the message that the book of Genesis gives us, that as human beings, we are not only our work. As human beings, we are not only our activity. As human beings, we are much more than everything we do. And so this is an opportunity, even if for 1 hour only every day, to get in touch with who you are within. To get in touch with the person that is inside of you. To get in touch with your being, your heart, what lies here. And the second reason for this retreat is to possibly get back that vision, to possibly get back that original orientation. And it could be as a husband, it could be as a wife, it could be as a child, it could be as a parent, It could be as a sibling. It could be in your work, to get back that orientation. To become, you might say, a better husband. To become a better wife. To become a better parent. To become a better employee. To become a better employer or boss. In other words, no matter in what state of life you are, this retreat is an invitation to regain that focus, to regain that orientation, to regain the fact that you have been created for better things. And so, my friends, I invite you to ask for the intercession of our Blessed Mother, because it was never known that anyone who fled to her protection was left unaided. And I can assure you that if you take her intercession, if you take her along with you on this journey, it will be a journey in which you come to terms with who you are, a journey in which you will realize, even if in a small way, who God is. It will be a journey after which the world will look a much brighter and better place than ever before. I invite you to begin this journey with and to God.